Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to try that again. Good afternoon, everybody. We are so excited to be here with you today to have this conversation about a quest for capital and what it takes for you to find the fuel to fund your business. Every business needs capital to operate, but there are different types of capital, and there are some barriers to accessing capital. But there are also benefits to get an infusion of capital into your business. And then, of course, since the theme of this conference is the future, we want to talk about what are some of the barometers, the trends that you need to know to be in the right spot, to be in rooms like this, the room where it happens, for you to be able to get access to the capital you need to do the thing you have dreamt of. The thing you wake up every morning to do, that passion that drives you to be an entrepreneur. And so we're so excited. I am blessed to be able to share this stage with luminaries that are here today. And instead of me trying to toot their horn, I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you this afternoon. And we'll start right here with Jada.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jada Grandy-Mogg. I am a wife, I am a mother, and I am a relentless person in pursuit of being a bridge builder to create capital opportunities to inspire others to do the same, because I believe when we create bridges, we can create ripples, and ripples can create waves, and waves will create change. That's who I am.
You better preach, child.
Woo, woo, woo.
Hi, everyone. My name is Twina Feliciano. I am a mother and I'm a business owner. I have about 25 years of experience in banking. Started out with JP Morgan Chase and ended my registered banking career with Wells Fargo. I'm the owner of a State Farm, and I am an advocate for small business. I am also a coach with Operation Hope, so hope you all are signed up.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rep Buttle. I run an organization that I founded called Public-Private Strategies. We are focused at the connection of the public and private sector. Most near and dear to our organization is really small businesses, because we know that they are the lifeblood of our community. Small businesses create 2 out of every 3 new jobs in our country. They employ 500,000 Americans. And the real reality is, if you want to gain wealth in our country, we know that you do that by starting your own business and growing wealth. And so we've been focused really on the advocacy pieces. So the work we do is we work with local, state, and federal governments. And so we're going to hear a lot today about private capital that you can access through our amazing panelists. But one of the biggest pieces we often have to tackle is how our governments are thinking about getting capital to everyone in our community. And so that's a little bit of the perspective I hope to bring today.
Awesome. Thank you, Rhett. And I am your moderator for this panel. My name is Michael Phillips. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for TDJ Enterprises. And I am also a father of 2 amazing children. They're grown now. My kids are grown. My grandkids are grown. And my son's 27. My daughter's 22. Believe it or not, they're grown. And so really excited to start this conversation off. So as we started at the top of this conversation about the quest for capital, the fuel you need to fund your business, I am curious about how you guys perceive the barriers to capital. What are some of those barriers systemically, historically? Because I think if we get that out the way, we can really drill down on the benefits, right? Because the system is the system. And as much as we want to advocate for it, change it, and make it more advantageous to produce more equity, we also still have to work the system. And so, Jada, from a banking perspective, talk to us a little bit about some of the barriers you've seen over your 25 years of experience in banking.
Sure. So in my day job, I get the opportunity to serve as the Chief Community Impact Banking Officer for Fifth Third Bank. And I neglected to say that when I was introducing myself, because the title is what I do, not who I am. So I want to make sure that that's clear. But I will share with you all regarding some of the barriers that I've seen across my 25 years of experience in the industry, having served as a commercial lender, where I had the opportunity to turn dreams into dollars, serving as a bank regulator for the Office of the Comptroller of Currency, managing risk throughout the financial system, and then also being responsible for making sure that capital is available and accessible in low and moderate income communities. There's three things that I see as barriers. One is about mindset. There are a lot of entrepreneurs that I know grew up in places of scarcity and grew up in places of lack. And what I continue to experience is the inability to think in abundance. The inability to think that you deserve to be in a room in the spaces and places that you occupy. The inability to be connected and to get access to where decisions are made and access to opportunities. The inability of us being able to and willing to invest in ourselves so that we can bet on ourselves to be connected to our dreams and our goals, in essence, to accomplish them. So that's the first thing I will say is moving from scarcity to abundance is one of the barriers that I see that can be mitigated and changed. Number two, we don't have our paperwork in order. I can't tell you how many times as an advocate in a financial institution that I've had to look the credit underwriters in the face and be able to talk about someone's character and to be able to talk about someone's ability to be able to make money in their business, because that is the way banks get paid back. And the fact that we don't take the time as entrepreneurs to get our house in order. It's not just about the character. Yeah, I'm gonna pay this, but show me. Where are your financial statements? How much do you actually believe that you're gonna earn? I don't wanna see my revenue on a paper napkin. Do you actually have an LLC or S Corp or a C Corp? Are you really organized or are you just gigging it out? Because when it comes to accessing capital in a formal way, you need to be formal, okay? So that's the second barrier that I will share that can be overcome. The third is too many people own your company. Because when you come to borrow, we have to rely on who is going to pay us back. All owners over 20% in an organization in banking, we require them to sign a dotted line. And what happens is entrepreneurs who have received VC funding or crowdfunding or other equity partners, it is sometimes difficult for them to sign the bottom line onto your company because they own too much of it. And they don't want to take the same amount of risk that you are. So the third barrier that I would say is make sure you own your stuff and you're strategic, that when you are going into the capital markets and when you are working with VCs and founders who are willing to invest in you, be really smart. Shark Tank is real, but be really smart about transferring your equity to folks, because that may change down the line. You may need them to exit, and if there's no exit plan, it is actually going to prohibit your growth and your ability to access multiple different diverse types of capital to grow your business. And I'll leave that there.
Ooh, that's a mouthful right there. I hope y'all wrote some of that down. Rhett, from a policy perspective, what are some of the barriers you've seen in your organization and how you guys helping to solve some of those problems?
So I think a lot of times what I see is that people are wary or worried about working with government, and I will be the first person to admit, government is not always the easiest place to start. But the reality is there's a lot of help. I think a good example is many of you are familiar with the Paycheck Protection Program. In the early days, it was really, really difficult to get people to take advantage of the Paycheck Protection Program. Well, listen, all these rich people who have lots of businesses, they were all taking advantage of the program, right? They were early, they were in, they were often. But for a lot of folks, they say, well, I don't think the government has a program for me, or maybe that's not the place where I want to start. So I'm not saying don't go to a private institution, but I think in a lot of cases there are opportunities. And so I really encourage folks to, one, be willing to ask for help. Too many of us are too scared to ask for help to be able to navigate things, and we really have to be able to shift our mindset and say, let me ask for help. Second, I would say, it's really important where you put yourself in the places that you put yourself. And so show up in really diverse places. You're obviously taking a first step being here today. It's such an important part to be a part of a community like this. But think of the other places where you want to be, where you would like to see yourself. Start signing up for those events, because as you begin to sort of meet those people in those networks, those are the people who are going to be able to help you better understand not only what are the opportunities in the private sector, but they're going to say, hey, do you know about this SBA Community Navigator program that helps people fill out their forms and is free to everyone and you can take advantage of, or here's how you take advantage of the PPP. And then the last piece is you talked a little bit about the system, and I would just encourage us all, we all have to share our stories more, and we all have to realize that the system is the system and it takes a long time to change, but we have to change the system. The system is not working for everyone in our country. For those of you who heard Senator Warnock sit up here this morning, he was talking a lot about that work. Now that is a long road, but we have to be able to share our stories about how the system isn't working for everyone. And so as you are encountering these experiences, it's really important that you are talking to friends and colleagues, and really importantly, policymakers, because they have important tools to help entrepreneurs unlock this experience.
Excellent, excellent. Twyna, you're on the front lines of this thing, particularly where you sit in Operation Hope. Talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing in barriers to capital.
Yeah, so definitely, you know, there are barriers when it comes to traditional financing. Those are some of the pain points. I would really say to a lot of our entrepreneurs that come through the program, we teach them how to back into their numbers, because understanding their financials is so key when it comes to getting financing. We have a volunteer program that we bring in CPAs, so subject matter experts that can help them and assist them in doing that. But one of the biggest things that we do during our 8-week program with Operation Hope is helping them to create a solid business plan. So if you are looking for resources or partnerships, you need to have a solid business plan so people know where their money is going and how they can follow that roadmap that you have made for yourself. One of the other things, of course, shout out to my son Jalen Feliciano and his best friend Ty and their mentor Nehemiah with Circle of Greatness. Because one thing that he always says to me is that, you know, Mom, what I did is I found someone who was doing what I wanted to do at the level that I wanted to do it. And then he got into mentorship. But it's about, like Jada said, getting in the room. Rhett actually, you know, explain that too, because when you're in the room and you have a circle of friends who are able to turn you on to different things, you're able to grow. So of course, you know, we always say, you know, our net worth is determined by our network. So, you know, at Operation Hope, we also provide networking so that you all can meet other business owners and subject matter experts who can propel your business forward.
Yeah, so our goal and our hope, and I'm hoping you're gleaning all this great information, is to demystify for you, you know, how to get capital for your business and all the steps that you have to take. And so we understand the systemic barriers, but I want to drill down more specifically on the benefits of this thing. Because once you're able to get funds into your business, an infusion of capital to help your business grow, sky's is really the limit. And so this is open forum, this is open conversation. Any of you can take this. The benefits of capital, how important it is for you as a business owner to at least aspire to have that abundance mindset, to say, I want to grow. I don't want to be a solopreneur. 96% of Black-owned businesses in particular have less than one employee, right? So if I'm going to grow, I have to have the faith and the belief in what I'm doing to at least start thinking my business rather than just doing my business. I got to find somebody else to do my business while I can think my business to grow. To do that, I need to know the benefits of getting access to capital. It's not just securing the bag. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. It's impacting your family. It's impacting your community. It's building generational wealth, all those things. So let's talk about some of those benefits.
So I believe in kingdom multiplication. When you're trusted with a little, you will be trusted with a lot. So what I will share about capital is the first $10,000 that you get, be a good steward over it, because ultimately it can turn into 20, and in some cases it could even turn into $1 million. We know that generational wealth is really critical. One of the ways that families earn wealth is through entrepreneurship and business ownership. And we can't do it just on our own. We need partners, we need collaborators, and we need funders. So the benefits of being able to get one loan and then being able to get another helps you to build a track record, not only with financial services, traditional financial services institutions, but also with investors. Because when your business, and I'm speaking into existence, does get really big and you have to access the capital markets, they want to understand if you've been able to really be responsible with the loans that you have already had in your possession. So the loans are really a means to an end. It's a bridge to economic opportunity. And in most cases, which I would hope to see, is that your business will get self-sustaining, that it will run on its own cash flow, and then you become the lender and not the borrower.
Come on.
So those are the benefits that I see.
Come on. Any one of you?
I would just say, I mean, everyone has this term, capital is king. Probably sitting up here with these two fabulous women, I should say capital is queen. But listen, capital has the ability to completely transform your business. I would say two things about it. One is, we talk a lot, and I think it's really unfortunate when we're in audiences with diverse businesses, Black businesses, and Latino businesses in particular, about how to get your first loan. And obviously that's really important. But sometimes what even is more important is that next step of capital. And, we talked a little bit about the mindset. And so what I would say is, for those of you who are in a place where maybe you've already got some capital and you're operating, don't wait until you need more capital to start thinking about it. Start thinking about it now. Start thinking about a line of credit. Start thinking about investment in other ways, because you just don't know when that next opportunity is going to become. And what you don't want to do is be scrambling or in the wrong position. I've seen so many entrepreneurs who get to that point and they miss the opportunity. While things are good, you're doing well, and you can be organized, start thinking about capital now. And then the second thing I would say is, obviously we're talking about money, and money is incredibly important. But also think about capital in other ways. Think about the relationships you're building. Think about investments in different ways. As my business grew and I started to think about capital, I think about myself some ways as an investor, and how I spend my money. I'm investing in something and sort of creating a relationship. And also, what are unique ways beyond necessarily, traditional capital that you can find interesting business arrangements with people? Can you do sponsorship opportunities? Can your organization's brand and logo show up in different ways? Now, you won't be able to do that for everything, but thinking about capital from like a holistic perspective is another way of elevating your business in a unique way.
You said something important, and Twan, I'll let you jump in a second, but capital is not just money. The capital that doesn't show up on your balance sheet is more important. It's called connected capital. The person next to you is a connection. The people on this stage is a connection. This is why we created a platform out of TDJ Enterprise called Good Soil, to connect entrepreneurs with other like-minded entrepreneurs, and more importantly, the partners to help them grow and scale their business. It's not just what you know, it's who you know. And that's real, right? And so when you think about capital, the person next to you has got a big old dollar sign over top of their head, because that's how valuable they are to your dream and to your business. And it might not be them connecting you to somebody. It might just be information. It might just be, oh, girl, go down. You know how y'all do it. Girl, go on down and do such, right? Oh, bruh, check this out, man. That's how we do it. And we can't be afraid to say, I don't know what I don't know. How do I get to the next level? Twana, go ahead and jump in anywhere right there. Go ahead.
love that. Connected capital. And that is actually how Operation Hope grew in numbers with our coaches in 2020 during the pandemic, because it was the people that knew their bankers that were being able to receive the assistance that was given out for small business during that disaster. So connected capital, I want to say, I believe he's in the room. Ron Demas with Citizens Trust Bank. If you all don't know a banker, get to know him. Get to know a banker. Citizens Trust is one of our partners as well, and they're awesome. And I want you all to make sure that you all have a banker that you all can go to. Of course, we are partnered with Truist and Wells Fargo as well, but I want you all to find a banker who is connected to you in your best interest. Therefore, when things come out, you're able to call someone and say, how do I do it? Walk me through doing it. Hey, I'm about to be over at the branch, so you can help me through this paperwork. And he's somebody who I know has done that for many clients, and they will do that for you. Yeah. And that's connected currency. So
if you don't mind, I want to just add to that. So I am the architect of a program at Fifth Third called the Neighborhood Investment Program. It is a three-pronged comprehensive community development model that combines financial capital, traditional financial products and solutions, philanthropic capital, because we need it all in our ecosystem, and social capital. This is the first time any bank in this country has put social capital in their business model. And we did it at Fifth Third because we felt the importance of connectedness and connected capital and social capital in driving economic mobility and supporting businesses in our community. It started out as a 3-year, $180 million investment pledge. We are now already over $219 million of investments, plus an additional $200 million that's been leveraged. And when I say leveraged, that is due to the connected capital that we've been able to establish with funders, founders, VCs, public and private foundations, as well as local governments and municipalities, connecting organizations and small businesses who are actually on the ground doing the work, and allowing them to enter in rooms, in places and spaces where myself, my leader, Kalal Gibson, who's our executive vice president, and even our CEO, and all of our region presidents throughout all 11 of our regions are responsible for making sure they are making connections to people that are on the ground, to people that are in places of power and influence who are connected to resources for them that they otherwise would not have gotten access to. It's a powerful thing to see all three components of capital at work, and one cannot operate independent of the other. So we're learning that it actually does create opportunities for all three to work together. We have examples where we've had grassroots nonprofit organizations with budgets starting at $50,000 that are now over $11 million. Because of the intentionality that we've had in building community development ecosystems and making sure we have prosperous businesses in those communities, because we recognize that in order for a community to be economically strong and viable, you have to have small businesses and entrepreneurs. And we have an obligation as a financial services provider to be there when they need us, and to be innovative, and to be thinking about flexible ways in a community-centered approach. Not what did we do to you, but what did we do with you?
Did y'all hear that right there? Please give that a round of applause for what you just said. And if there are institutions like this that are thinking that way, it's a great segue in the few minutes we have left to think about what are some of the barometers that we need to be looking for where capital access is going? What are some of those trends, banking perspective, policy perspective, right? From a philanthropic perspective, what Operation Hope is doing. Where do we need to be thinking about how to align ourselves and our businesses for the future of capital?
Is that for me?
Sure, right.
I'll start. I'm kind of the policy, political guy on the panel. So I would say a few things. One is there's actually never been a more better time to start a business or grow your business than now in America. And so, for those of you who are existing entrepreneurs, let's put some fuel on it. For those of you who are thinking about entrepreneurship, let's do it in the next few months. From a federal government perspective, many of you know there have been a number of laws that have been passed under the Biden-Harris administration that are fueling change across communities, right? You had a bipartisan infrastructure law passed by both Republicans and Democrats. You had a clean energy law passed. In total, we're talking about $1.8 trillion flowing down into communities that is creating jobs, helping new small businesses grow, all the above. So your question is how do we unlock opportunities like that, right? And so I would really say start thinking about the work that you can be doing with the Small Business Administration or the Department of Commerce. The U.S. Small Business Administration has offices all across the country. They're available in all communities. They actually have a capital connector where they help people think about capitals. How many folks in this room know what a CDFI is? Raise your hand if you know what a CDFI is. CDFIs partner with the government. They are a great way of thinking about getting access to capital for folks who aren't able to get it from sort of traditional banks. So all of these sort of more tangible tools that are available. The two other things I would have put on your radar are, and when we're thinking about more non-traditional capital, is healthcare and healthcare costs. We have never seen a more friendly environment for entrepreneurs to be able to get access to healthcare through using healthcare.gov, for those of you who worry about that as a concern. And the last thing that I'll just put on your radar is taxes and tax planning, and I think it's something we all think about. It's going to be an interesting moment, right? Because as we all know, we just went through a presidential election. Many of the tax cuts and the tax provisions that happened under the previous administration are set to expire, and Congress is about to have a robust discussion on taxes, and this will impact you. We obviously, there's a lot of talk about what exactly it means for corporations and the large, sort of the big guys and the big ladies, I should say, and all the above. But most importantly, what I will be watching is how this impacts entrepreneurs. And so over the next few months, as we're sort of thinking about trends, really start thinking about how you can sort of position yourself around some of this opportunity for these money that's flowing down, but also be watching about what's happening in the tax landscape, because over the next year, there's going to be a serious conversation, and the folks who will be impacted most will be working families and small businesses, depending on how the tax rates shake out.
And I would just add some of the trends that I'm seeing. It's really not a trend because it's been happening all along. It's just not something that we typically do. I like to have living room conversations, so I feel like I'm in the living room amongst family, so I can say this, is that we have to really be thinking about collaboration, and we need to be choosing collaboration over quiet competition. And, we there's a lot of opportunity out there that if we can come together, we can really make a lot of things happen. So many of us are focused on the $1 million that we can make, when there might be an opportunity. If I do a JV or go in with somebody, I might can make 10 million, because 10 million or 20 million with two people is 10 million for each. That's better than the 1 million that you would have been able to get by yourself. Mm-hmm. And so I would challenge everybody to be thinking about how your business can be an enhancer for somebody else's business, so that y'all can go to market together, and we can get these coins, as they say, as my niece tells me. We can get these coins, and we can really change the trajectory of wealth for our community, and shifting our mindset from a me, and my, versus a we, and our.
So good, so good, so good.
Whew. She said a mouthful. So true. Collaboration is where I see entrepreneurs, small business owners needing to be. We have a partner coach, Lyndon Jackson. He works a lot with the Atlanta Black Chamber as well. And so he puts on forums with the SBA so that we can see kind of who has the prime. Maybe your business can be a sub, for them, and maybe next time you'll be the prime. But with the forums that they have, it's really good to get to know who has these contracts and how your business can kind of sub up under those prime contracts. So I definitely know that collaboration is going to be what propels all of us forward in business. One other thing with the CDFIs, I want you all to look up CDFIs across the country and micro lenders across the country. I had to do a stop for a client in the West End, and I saw this. It was a Wells Fargo, and then I saw it said Self-Help Credit Union. So I went in, and they are one of our new CDFIs, and they have a new location in the West End off of Joseph Laurie for all of you all who are in Atlanta. They help small business. Go see them. But they are across the country. I think they started out in North Carolina. But go take a look and see what they can do to help you grow your business and continue to get certs that you're going to be able to use for contracts. Because again, we want to all be able to come together, prime this time, sub sometime, just work together to build business. I want to ask you too, Rhett, the CHIPS Act, will that still be like on the table, or is that going to change?
Yeah, I mean, so I think the question you're asking is, we're having a change in administration, so we're moving from a Democrat administration to a Republican administration. The Biden-Harris administration is moving as fast as they can to move these dollars out the door. And by the way, you all, that's a good thing, because the more money we have in communities is more money that's going to be available to small businesses like you, are going to be able to take advantage of those contracts. And I think we expect, like in the next 20 days, for the vast majority of that to get out. So there's the bipartisan infrastructure law, and folks should learn a little bit about these big laws, because these massive funding laws have gone down. They've gone to state and local governments, and they're making contracts. And a lot of these contracts are going to small businesses. And if they're going to larger businesses, those businesses and their supply chains are looking for contracts. So you have the bipartisan infrastructure law, the chips and sciences law, which is really focused on creating a national security market. It's about the chips that are in everything, from the vehicles we drive to the airport security we go through. And then we have the Inflation Reduction Act, which is really focused on transitioning us to a clean energy economy. And so for those of you who are thinking about the clean energy perspective about how your business can be cutting there, it's important to look at. And I just want to put two other things on the radar. If you aren't thinking about AI and crypto and the way in which money moves and how AI can help your business, those are just two other trend points that I would say is start getting your head around, start thinking about how it impacts your business, because both of them are very much in our near future.
Excellent, excellent. In the few moments we have together, one of the things we did at the enterprise, we created this product called Good Soil, designed to be a supportive ecosystem for small business. And the main reason we did it was because we didn't want to create another forum or another space or another platform where entrepreneurs came and got overcoached and left undercapitalized. We wanted to make sure that regardless of where you are on your capital continuum, one, you can have the network support that you need. Two, you can get plugged in directly to the type of capital that you need, and it's free. It's available to you right now. Go to the App Store, Good Soil HQ, download it. It's right there. It's available for you. We host a forum every year, June 12th, shameless plug, June 12th through the 14th, where we have a fast pitch competition. Entrepreneurs are leaving with $500,000 up for grabs in the fast pitch competition. The worst that you're going to do is leave with a 30-page business plan with a 1-year projection in P&L for your business. That's the worst you can do. And so I urge you to take advantage of all of those resources that are available to you. For the entrepreneurs that are out here that are struggling, that are thinking about quitting, thinking about getting up, and they're looking at a grim and bleak future, what are your closing thoughts? I'm going to toss that to one of you.
You know, we are a resilient people. When I take a look and think about my ancestors and all those that have come before me and all of the challenges and things that they've had to overcome, look at where we are. And I believe no matter what's happening in our world or no matter what's happening in our environment, we can define the place and space that we will occupy, and we can also define how we will see it. You can see it as an opportunity, or you can see it as a detriment. You could be on a demolition crew, or you can be on a construction squad. It is up to us to make a choice. But we have been builders, we have been accelerators, we have been people who have overcome some amazing challenges in our lifetime. And I know that we can continue. So I would say to keep your head up and find your space, because you all have a space. We all were created for a purpose. And my hope is that all of you will find it and that you will take hold of it. And for those of us that are believers, I know I am unashamed believer in my God and my Jesus Christ, that God will anoint you and bring you in spaces and places and make your gifts made known before men. But you got to keep your head up. There's a song that says, keep your head to the sky. Yeah. And I believe that that's what we need to do, and we'll get there because we are a resilient people.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you give it up for this amazing panel and this amazing session? Thank you. We're out of time. God bless you. Thank you so much.